Hi everyone, I'm Gautam aka The Seeker of Wisdom. I'm a manifestation and mindset coach, and in this video, we're going to be talking about manifesting someone specific versus someone in general. Now, before we do so, I'd like to remind you guys I am available for coaching. I offer one on ones, courses, and other services. I also have a free Facebook group, and I'm active on platforms like Instagram and Threads, links to which can be found in the description down below. So, without further ado, guys, let's get to it. So if I'm ever given a choice as to manifest someone in general or manifest someone specific, I'd always go with manifesting someone in general because it's easier. It's the path of least resistance. And I know that's not the answer many of you may like to hear. And I'll explain how to go about manifesting a specific person as well. But really going general, not just with manifesting a specific person, but in almost every single area out there, be it whether you're talking about a job or a house or anything for that matter, going general is always the best option available. And here's why. If the universe knows ways and means that we know not of, the universe also knows possibilities that you and I haven't even thought of. It's akin to when we are kids. Maybe we want this particular toy, for instance, and our parents are telling us like, hey, if you leave that one and follow me, I'll show you a bigger toy, right? A bigger teddy bear, for instance. And that's what it is like. And our child mind may not be able to comprehend or fathom that idea that something even better may exist. But if we trust the universe like we are expected to trust our parent at that age, what are we going to find? We are going to find a much better possibility out there waiting for us to embrace. And that's really the essence of going general, is that there are infinite possibilities and permutations out there, and we don't know all of them. And by going general, we are taking advantage of the universe's ability to see across space and time and pick out the best possible outcome for us. And how do we do this? How do we command the universe to do this? We do this by staying in the wish fulfilled and persisting in that state. And so what do we feel in this state is nothing but peace and relief that our desires are already done. And we maintain that until the best possible outcome is manifested. That's all there is to it. And if you think, is this something similar to the Isn't It Wonderful method? It is exactly the essence of the Isn't It Wonderful method. It encapsulates the strength or the power that lies in going general, right? Even though that's not the essence of that story. And for those of you who don't know what story I'm talking about, I'm referring to the one where Neville mentions of a lady who wanted to manifest a bunch of different things, right? She wanted a job, but she didn't really want to work, and her car kept breaking down. And at one point, she just decided to focus on that feeling. And long story short, what ended up happening was she managed to manifest $2,500 for the rest of her life, and this was in the 50s or so. So it would amount to, I would say, 10 grand or maybe even more in today's currency. And that's where really the Isn't It Wonderful method comes from. And when you go general, right, like that's what you are tapping on, the possibilities, the infinite permutations there is, thereby allowing you to attract the best possible outcome that you yourself may not even have thought of from where you are. Just like this lady, she may have just wanted a job or her car to be fixed in the beginning, but since she just chose to focus on the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Since she chose to go general, she got a solution that not even her wildest dreams could have conceived, but yet it was a possibility, one that the universe was able to see. How do we know this? Because it has brought it into her life, which is really all the evidence you need. And this is proof that circumstances don't matter, and if you go general, you might manifest something even better than the ones you began with. And that concept is not different when it comes to SP as well. The only thing I suppose that could be different with the case of SP is the emotional component there is, right? Where unlike other areas where you are manifesting cars or houses or even with other people, you're not as emotionally involved in them as much as in the case of SP or just love related manifestations. So I think that would be the only difference. But other than that, like, this rule really holds true even in the case of love. If you go general and you list out a set of criterias, or even better yet, you just focus on feeling loved, feeling cherished, and feeling the warmth of companionship in your heart, chances are you'll attract a partner that is far more in alignment, far more suited for you than if you were to actually pick a specific person. And that said, like, you might be wondering, okay, well, what would be the case with manifesting a specific person? Then where is it then valid? So let's say you meet someone, right, in the process of trying to just manifest a person in general, and then you meet someone, you fall in love, and then you want to take things to the next level. And I think that sort of situation is completely valid, where you know met this person coincidentally, just at a bar or at some workplace or something, and then you fell in love with them, and then they became your SP. If this is the case, I think that's totally fine, because at one point you did go general, and like, obviously the circumstances, the bridge of events has to lead you to a specific partner eventually at one point. So this type of manifestation is fine. I don't really see any flaw in it. Even with someone who starts off with the agenda of manifesting someone specifically just because they like them, that tends to be the type of folks who I would pause and ask, like, do you want to manifest someone specific despite all that has happened before? Not that it's a limiting belief per se, but it's more to find out, one, has their thought patterns changed for the better? If not, why? If so, yes. Like, really just understanding the reasonings behind that, so that you are not wasting your time with this specific person. As they come in hot, you feel really good, but as they become colder, you feel like you are lost again at the hands of the same person, which is never an easy thing, of course. So I always tell people, like, can you justify to yourself why you would like to manifest a specific person, right? It could be a very simple reason, but if you can't justify to yourself as to why you would like to be with a person, right, I think then you have a problem. And that is what, like, I realize when manifesting a specific person. There's just a lot of these micromanaging, there's a lot of unnecessary energy that goes into maybe stalking them or questioning their agenda, questioning their actions. And also there's a lot of contradictory information, in the sense that there might be external factors such as a third party, a friend of yours, a family member, and all of these external parties that is nothing more than a manifestation of your fears and doubts. But these are people who can be physical manifestations of the doubts and fears that you have. And when you have a general person, oftentimes this isn't present, right? So you have to consider, I'm not trying to dissuade anyone, But you have to sort of consider all of these factors when it comes to manifesting an SP versus going general, right? The sort of clear advantage I see is that yes, like at one point eventually you will transition into SP sort of situation anyway, like I said earlier, where you are manifesting someone in general, you meet someone, and all of a sudden, next thing you know, you are in a quote unquote SP situation. So you're not fully immune from any of these potential risks that are involved. But when you are manifesting someone in general, like this person may not have any of the doubts and fears and wounds that you may have attracted through your specific person. But the one thing that I can say with a specific person, if you have the conviction of, say, someone like Neville or Louise Burleigh, for instance, you can see that person and say, okay, that person is my husband, that person is my wife, and that's that, and I have manifested them. And you can just imagine and visualize going out with them, doing things with them without micromanaging the 3D, without having any expectations as to how things should unfold. If you can do that, then by all means go for someone specific. But the truth of the matter is that the community is filled with people who tend to be fearful, doubtful, anxious of the outcomes, and they have a lot of expectations on how things should unfold, what should happen, why isn't it happening the way they think they should, and they are putting in XYZ amount of techniques and efforts. And okay, I'm sorry, my friend's cat is scratching me right now. But I think all of these factors just comes into play. And I always tell people, like, if you are that sort of person, just go general, because so much of it happens behind the scenes when you're manifesting someone in general that you're not even given as an opportunity to micromanage any of these factors. You are being led by pure faith. That, but of course, to each its own. I really would say that it's easier to manifest someone in general for these reasons. But again, if you're someone like Neville, for instance, of course, like going the specific person route, if let's say you see a celebrity and you say, you know what, I like to go on a date with this person, and you say, I'm not going to let anything in this world, any circumstance be a factor. I assume it's done, I persist in that, it's done, right? And if you are like that, then I would say go for it, more power to you, right? But people aren't like that, and I wish more people were like that. They had that high level of conviction, and that's what I would always tell people who are facing a sort of dilemma, which I'm encountering more of these days, right? They have a couple of different people, or they have this one person that they're going back and forth with, and they don't know what they should do, whether they should manifest someone in general or they should manifest someone specific. And I always say, look at your history, look at what you have gone through, look at how much you have changed, or have you changed at all for that matter, and then ask yourself, is it worth going through this journey again? And when you come at it from that perspective, I think the answer will be clear to you. The only reason why people hesitate going general is that the amount of uncertainty that's involved there, right? Like I said, it requires a high level of faith in the unseen, where you have to really have that faith that yes, my desires are already done, and you have to persist in that, even if you don't see a shred of evidence in the 3D. And that is understandably a little difficult, a little challenging for some people to do. But if you can achieve that, you will be unstoppable in this journey. And not just for SP side of things, but for any side of things, any aspect of life, you would be unstoppable, because you have unshakable faith in the universe, which is what this journey is all about, is to realize that the power is within you and that you can move mountains if you want to. And you realize that through the faith that you have. This is letting go of the so-called logical way of thinking and really surrendering yourself to the universe to manifest the desires that you want. And all you have to do is simply assume it to be true until it hardens into fact in the 3D. So really, the question of whether to go general or specific person really depends on you, in the sense that you know yourself the best, you know your life's history the best, and more importantly, the question that I often ask myself, and I also encourage my friends and my clients to ask, is how long do you want this cycle to repeat? Right? And that's not a answer that many people would even be willing to face in the beginning, right? Because they like the comfort that they have in the short term. They like the comfort that they have in the instant gratification that comes along with things. But I always tell folks, think long term, think far ahead. Like, think about your happily ever after 10 years from now, 20 years from now. How long do you want to repeat this cycle, right? I'm not saying that manifesting someone general is the way to go. Like I said, Neville manifested someone specific. Louise Burley had so many specific manifestations that she exactly wanted and did manifest. Joseph Murphy has stories where he recounts people who manifested SPs as well. So it's not like it hasn't been done before, but there's a reason why even Neville himself encouraged going general, right? Because people like the idea of companionship, but if you really dig deep as to whether or not you actually want a person or what makes them special, there may not be as many things as you may have thought of. And like I said about the earlier analogy, you are too focused sometimes at this one person, at this one story, this one baggage that you've been carrying along for such a long period of your life, perhaps, that you don't see, right? Like you don't take your eyes off of that and look around what other better options are waiting for you potentially, right? And this is not something that we are willing to address at times, because again, there's a bit of uncertainty. We fear the unknown, so we tend to maybe cling on to something that we do know, right? But all that to say, it boils down to having faith in the unseen and trusting, regardless of whether or not you're going this specific person route or general route. It all boils down to faith. I just happen to believe that going general is a little bit more easier, simply because there's no micromanaging, but if you have self-discipline, you can certainly eliminate the micromanaging as well. I'm just speaking in terms of just observing the community in general and what I have witnessed. But your specific case may vary, of course, and if you really need like some personalized advice, coaching is always available, as I mentioned. But really, sit down and think about all this stuff, right? Like, I'm not spending 20 plus minutes in this video for no reason, right? I believe that there are, again, pros and cons to both approaches, and I think it's always better to go general, just for all areas, not just specific person, but especially in the area of manifesting a partner. I feel going general, especially if you have not manifested anyone yet, like that would be the way to go. So that's all, guys. I would love to hear what your thoughts are in the comments down below, truly, because this is more of a open topic. It's not like, oh, my way is the highway sort of situation here, right? Like, everyone's opinions varies to a large extent. I tend to see both views, but I'd like to hear where you guys are coming from and what your reasons are. And yeah, let's have a discussion about it. So guys, that's all from me. If this video resonated with you, be sure to drop a like and a comment down below. Turn on your bell notification so that you guys will know when I upload a brand new video. We are still doing that giveaway for the 1 month DM coaching. All you have to do is be a public subscriber and leave a comment for additional entries. I will be picking out a winner when the channel reaches 2,222 subscribers. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Stay safe and happy manifesting. Peace.